Hello, my name is William Miller, and I will be your BCIS 1305 instructor for this semester. First, I'd like to introduce me. I have taught for TCC for over 10 years, and this is my third year teaching online classes, and I love teaching online classes. It gives me the same benefits it gives you. It gives me the benefit of being able to have a more flexible schedule. I am an adjunct instructor, which means I have another job. I also have kids, so I really enjoy being able to do this from home, as I'm sure you guys do too. My master's degree was taken online over 10 years ago, obviously, and of course I've taken courses since then online. So it's really interesting to be on this side of it. I really enjoyed this. So I'm going to go ahead and jump in the course. I'm not going to read everything to you from the syllabus. I just wanted to go over a couple of key points. First thing is that in general, Windows 10 whenever it comes to this class will be more beneficial than trying to do this on Macintosh. Typically, people that have tried this with a Macintosh computer um, have run into some problems. We will be using Microsoft Office 365. If you're using an older version than Office 365, if you're using like 2016, you might experience a little bit of differences. Um, for sure you'll experience some significant differences if you go older than 2016. If you're trying to use like Microsoft Office 2013 or 2010, it probably will not work out too well for you. So make sure that you're getting that Microsoft Office 365. There is a free version of it through Blackboard. I'll be sending out a link soon for you guys to go ahead and try that if you don't already have it available to you. So this course is made up of two major parts. It's the information systems portion of it, which you'll have a separate connects site you'll go to and a separate book, and then there's the SimNet simulation site, which you'll be using, again, a different site, and on that site you'll use SimNet lessons and SimNet projects. And this is a little bit this is going to be a little hard to understand because it's easier once you get into it, but just realize that this course is like two separate courses built into one. So let's talk about the Office portion of it, then we'll talk about the information systems portion of it. So the Office portion of it is the one using SimNet primarily. It's where you're learning how to use Word, Excel, Access, and PowerPoint. And, the way I have this set up is that there's like this little virtual learning environment called SimNet Lessons that you'll be able to utilize. They're simulations, and there'll be like 3 steps to it. It's going to show you how to do it. It's going to kind of walk you through at the same time letting you work through it. And then it's going to be you doing it on your own, which is a great way of doing of teaching students how to use Word. Once you've done that, and actually I've only got 4 of these lessons out, one for Word, one for Excel, one for Access, and one for PowerPoint. And I want you guys to do, the whole SimNet lesson first and then go into the projects. I found that students that do that, they generally are a little bit more successful than trying to have 15 lessons and 15 projects. So just be aware of that. And not only that, you can always go back into those lessons and try them again once you've completed them and just kind of see where you're having problems at. Now, so the SimNet lessons are meant to kind of help you get the skills required to complete the SimNet projects. There are 15 projects. There's 4 on Excel. 4 on Word, 4 on Excel, 4 on Access, and 3 on PowerPoint. So the important part about this is that make sure that you are downloading the files that you're using directly from the website. Don't try to use someone else's files. These files have a tag in them that's specific to you. So another thing is if you start having problems, please utilize the computer labs. Are going to be able to help you quicker than I will be able to help you. If you do try to, send me a problem, make sure that you're using Screencast-O-Matic or some other screen recording software that kind of shows me where you're having problems. That'll help out significantly. Okay, so for the discussion area, you'll have 10 discussions plus an Ask Your Peers forum during the 10 discussions. You'll have an initial post that is due halfway, basically by halfway through the module. So each module will be 2 weeks long for this course, and we'll have about 3 units within it. And a unit, for units 1 through 10, well, you can just take that to mean chapters. It's just the way that TCC pushed this course out to us. I had to call them units. So just be aware of that. So let's say that you're doing chapters 1 through 3. That means for all 3 of those chapters, there's going to be a discussion out there for them, and you need to make your initial post by the end of week 1 for this course. The end of week 2, what happens is you have to make 1 initial post plus 2 other follow-up posts. So if everybody does their initial post by the end of week 1, then everybody can do their follow-up post by the end of week 2. So everybody's, on track. Make sure that, your initial post, covers the topic well. And your follow-up post, make sure that you're furthering the conversation. Don't just simply put something like, "Oh yeah, I agree with you." That does not further the conversation. Now, the Ask Your Peers forum. So what I have designed here is a place for you to go out and get help from those that are in your class. For instance, if you were studying in a classroom and you were working on a Excel document, you were trying to figure out how to sum something up, you probably wouldn't. You'd probably already at that point be kind of paired up with a buddy and be sitting next to him, and you'd ask them, "Hey, how did you do this?" Well, that's what the Ask Your Peers forum is. It gives you that, hey, how did you do that? It's not a gotcha. In fact, you will never be counted off for asking questions in the Ask Your Peers forum, so long as it pertains to this course. Another thing you can do, let's say that you just, hey, look, I'm a rock star whenever it comes to this kind of stuff, and I do have students that are probably better at it than I am. You could post things about current events here. Just, I don't expect, 1 a week or anything like that, but I do expect you to have some participation within the sport, so that a way that the people that are not rock stars, that maybe are just need a little bit more help, will have people that can provide that tutorial or help for them, maybe in a different or a better way than I can even. So please go ahead and utilize that. Be checking in on it weekly. We have 30 students in this class. If everybody's checking in on it weekly and not wait until the weekend to do it, I think that we'll have quite a bit of conversations, interesting conversations. So at the end of the semester, I will go back and I will look and see just how deeply you participated, and if it was throughout the semester or you thought, "Oh no, I got to do something in that," the last week. So this is where myself as an educator that's been teaching this course for 10 years, I get to go in there and actually, look, just, hey, how well did you participate, and give you a grade based on that. Probably you'll get 100 in this category, so long as you're participating in it, and you're not just checking a mark. So let's go on to Learn Smart. I did mention that this course is basically 2 different courses. We have the office portion of it. Now we have the information systems portion of it. So Learn Smart is part of that information systems part of it. So this is where you'll go out and you'll read the book, you'll ask some questions, determine how well you already know the topic, and then maybe give you a little bit more to read or give you some questions. So typically this is a great opportunity for you to make 100. Most people that do Learn Smart make 100. Quizzes, this is going over the information systems part. It's over that Learn Smart portion. Every week we'll have a quiz. Just be aware of that. If you miss a quiz, a score of 0 will be given. Okay, so your final exam. Your final exam will be May 6th to May 8th. It opens May 6th, I believe, at 6 a.m. and closes May 8th at 6 p.m. Make sure that you do not miss the final exam. The final exam will have 2 parts, one over information systems, one over office. Each one of them will be 30 questions. The information systems will be more like the quizzes, and the office one will be taken on SimNet. It'll be more like the Let Me Try portion. Now, what's important to realize is that students that do really, really well on the final exam do the final review, which is opened up in Module 4. Make sure that you get in and do the final review. There is just a gob of questions, hint, hint, some of them are on the final exam, that will be asked of you. So please get in there and do the final review, get used to how it's done, and then go back in and do the final exam. So let's move on, and there we go. Communication plan. The primary method of communication is of course, is TCC email. Please just be aware of that. Don't send me an email that is not, don't send me an email from your personal email address. I won't respond to it. If you need assistance, in others, this is the general order you need to go through first. If it's about how the course is done, just review the syllabus, review the FAQs at the end, and any videos like this one that I have posted for possible solutions. If it's an academic nature, then, make sure you're reviewing your text. Now, if it's about your grade, you can skip all this and just email me. And that's fine. And please never, ever, ever get frustrated in this. If you start feeling yourself get frustrated, just email me. And if you're frustrated, put your phone number in there and put down there something like, Mr. Miller, I'm really concerned. I would really appreciate a phone call back. And put your phone number in there, and I'll give you a call back. I don't want anybody getting upset in this course. There's just too much to it. It does have a pretty steep learning curve, but I think that I've redesigned it to where it'll be a little easier to understand. If it's not something like that, if it's just like, oh, I don't know how to do this in Office or whatever, utilize the Ask Your Peers. If you have not gotten something back in 24 hours, then by all means, just go ahead and, email me, or better yet, and both the Ask Your Peers and the laboratories, this could be either or. If you want to just go straight to a laboratory, there's computer labs all over the district. Go to one of them. I think it's TCC's. There's one at the Trinity River that's specific to computer science, I believe. You can go and utilize those. If you're still not able to find an answer, if it's an Office problem, please use something like Screencast-O-Matic and take a video of it and send the video to me. Screencast-O-Matic, I've got a little link here. Super easy site. It's basically what I'm doing right now. I'm just taking a screen video, and that way you can talk and tell me what's going on, and then I can see it, send me the files, I can replicate it, and then send you back a video as well. And it works really, really super easy. You obviously don't have to show your video in there of yourself, just the screen. Generally Monday through Friday, I'll try to reply within 24 hours. I try to. I do have another job outside of this, and I have 2 kids, and so please just give me a little bit of grace if I don't get back to you in 24 hours. If it's been 48 and I haven't replied to you, please send me another one. You've got my phone number at the top of this. Please call me on that if you need to. But on the weekends, I generally I won't say that I'll call you back on the weekends. I might, but I don't want to put that out there and say I'll do it, and then something comes up. I'm in visiting my mother in Oklahoma or something, and I won't be within, I won't have a computer there, so just be aware of that. And another thing that you might want to be considerate of is that everything is due Sunday nights, but again, they're out there for 2 weeks, so just take that in consideration, please, 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 please. I do post announcements, so make sure you're checking the announcements on Blackboard. Computer laboratories. If there's an issue at your home with a computer, I can't really provide any allowances for that. So what I tell students is make sure you're using something like OneDrive, Google Drive, I think it's called Backup and Sync now, or something of that nature, Dropbox. So that way, you're saving, and if your computer drive just crashes, well, it's already saved out to the cloud. So make sure you're providing yourself that backup somehow. It's not a have to, but it's that in case of type thing, because computers are, they do have problems every now and then. If it's at your house, I can't make any, I can't give you any extra time, but if it's at a computer lab, then I can give you extra time. But I have to have something from the computer laboratory assistant that tells me what exactly happened. Student accessibility resources. I'm not going to go through every one of these, but just be aware of them. Make sure you've read through all of this. Course assessment, discussions are worth 10%, chapter quizzes are 20, connect assignments are 10, projects are 20, simulations are 15, the final exam is 25%. Typical grade setup for A, B, C, D, and F. Required materials, this is a TCC Plus course, so you should have gotten either links. I'm not 100% sure how this all works with the TCC Plus. It's rather new, but I'm assuming they're giving you some links or giving you a card where you register for the course. Again, that's all stuff that should have done outside of it. So if you didn't, if you opted out, then please check back on the ICR and it'll have links to the official required materials. Just, if you have any questions, you can email me and ask me, but I don't really know all the answers as far as the Plus course bundle stuff yet. So we'll see. Special instructions is student is expected to complete all assignments on time and turn them in for grading. So just be aware the modules are out there for 2 weeks. So once those modules go away, it's really and truly, I think that with this course, I don't think you'll have any problems getting everything done within that 2-week time period. So just make sure you stay on top of everything. Let's see here. Don't be dishonest. That's pretty easy to see that. Attendance policy. If you go 2 weeks without really doing anything in this course, then I'm probably going to drop you. So just be aware of that. I mean, it's 15%. It's an 8-week course. Do the math. If you go 2 weeks, if I can see in the, 2 things I'm going to look at. If you haven't logged in for 2 weeks or you haven't, and that's an or you haven't completed any assignments for 2 weeks, you're probably going to get dropped. So please don't do that. Please make sure you're staying on top of everything. In case of technical difficulty, you guys know where to go. Frequently asked questions. I kind of keep these up to date, but sometimes I've had to go in there and I found a couple. I was like, no, that doesn't make sense. I need to take that out now. For instance, there was some dealing with some of the, like, do I need to buy this product? Well, you probably have already gotten it because you're all TCC Plus. So please take a look at those. Okay, so I wanted to show you around the course just a little bit. I'm still building it, so some items are missing, but this will give you the gist of how it was supposed to be created. First of all, we're going to go over here to the lesson modules. Again, this is still being created, so you're not going to see all this out at once. I'm only going to put a couple, like one of them out at a time. I'll probably leave getting started out there, so let's go ahead and go there first. This right here, this link will walk you through SimNet and how to get registered on not only SimNet but also on Connect, and you'll need to do both of those. So all this is just a PDF, so just be aware that there's you're going to have to really follow these instructions really closely, so make sure you're doing that. Let's go back over here. Here is the tentative schedule. You can see everything's busted out into these modules. Module 1, which is weeks 1 and 2. You're going to read and complete all work in the Word folder, so that's under Module 1. Do Unit 1. This is basically, okay, so this is the office portion of it, and this right over here, that's the information systems portion of it. So Unit 1 corresponds to Chapter 1, Unit 2 corresponds to Chapter 2, and so forth and so on. So let's go back out to the lesson modules. Don't pay any attention to this. I'm hiding those for a reason. So Module 1, let me show you what Module 1 looks like. So here's the Word folder, so everything you're to do is right here. And again, this is more or less built the way it's supposed to. So these are like preamble. Read this. You're not going to see this portion of it. That's for me. Well, you can look at it right there, but anyway, there's nothing there that's all that incredibly useful. This is where you want to make sure that you're doing everything. Now, some of this, again, I have to take out because it no longer pertains to the way we register for this course. And make sure you watch this little working in SimNet video. This is something that will be probably pretty useful for you. Now we're getting into the basics of Word. The 2016 tutorial, again, it'll be similar enough to Office 365. You'll be fine with that. So this is where the meat and potatoes are, right down here. This is where you're getting your grades from. You'll want to make sure you do the BCIS word simulation. That's the lesson of it, it's one for all four. Make sure you get that done first, and then you can go in and do the projects. So again, the projects, you'll click on this, it'll take you to another website, you'll download the starter file and move on. And again, this is covered in better detail right here, so just be aware of that. And also on this right here, you might see it set up a little bit differently, but the gist of how you're doing it is all the same. Okay, so that's walking you through module 1. Let's get back out here to lesson modules. Module 2. Again, not everything's out here, but it's more or less here. This is all the same. So Excel, Unit 4, Unit 5, Unit 6, so forth and so on. I think that probably will give you enough of an idea. Make sure that on Module 4, right over here, there's lesson exam reviews. And one of the exam reviews is going to be just a big quiz thrown out there. And I don't remember exactly how many questions, but it's just asking you these in random orders. Make sure you get out there and practice, practice, practice. Another thing you can look at is your quizzes. Whenever you take them, there's a way for you to go back in there and look at what the answers were. Make sure you're doing that. If you miss a quiz, though, that kind of hinders you a little bit. So don't miss quizzes. Don't miss the exam. Please don't miss the exam. I have had students fail the course because they missed the final exam, and there are no late exams. I have to have these grades in. I push it as far as it can get pushed. So not only is there the information systems review, but there's also one out of SimNet. So just go out there and try them. Again, there's a huge correlation between the students that do the reviews and do well on the test and those that don't do the reviews. So take my word on it, you'll want to do that. Thank you. And finally, make sure that you're paying attention to the announcements. I know I don't have any announcements out here, but make sure that the announcements, you're looking at them and you don't just blow them off whenever you see a little thing come up on your email saying there's announcements. I typically won't push the announcements all the way out to your email as far as the message inside them, but it should tell you on your email when you get an announcement. Just make sure that as soon as you see that an announcement has been made, that you come back and you check it through Blackboard. Okay? Again, the Ask Your Peers, that is very important for you guys to be checking in on. That'll be a discussion forum for you guys to go in there and get some help. Just, make sure that you're asking questions that are appropriate for the forum. This is where, like, if you were sitting in class, you would ask, hey, how would you do this? You wouldn't, ask, things like, well, what is my grade in this class? That's not something that person would know, and I wouldn't want to put it out there. So you can email me that directly. You don't have to go through any of the communication steps if you want to know, well, if you want to know your grade, you can look right here. But if you're not sure why you got your grade, then you can email me directly. And just be aware, talking about grades, and I should have said this in the syllabus, the only thing that I'm really grading is the discussion forums. Everything like SimNet and LearnSmart does their own grading, and you can go out there and you can see exactly why you missed what you missed. It's not something that's held back from you. You can go out there and look at the rubrics and see what's going on. So please utilize that. Okay, well, I hope that you found this useful. The big thing is don't get frustrated. Email me before that happens, and I will help you out. Do utilize the Ask Your Peers forum. Do realize that this is more like two classes split in one. We have the information systems, and then we have the office. So I think that if you get all that, the learning curve for this class will go significantly down. It'll help you out quite a bit. Okay, thanks. Bye.